Now, I know it's really out of character for me to criticize anything YouTube is doing.
That's really funny.
So I hope you'll allow me for the first time ever to complain about something that YouTube is doing. Now, YouTube has enacted, as of April 2nd, they uploaded this video, probably because they thought if they uploaded on April 1st, nobody would believe them. A program called YouTube UVR. And essentially, this is a paid service for YouTubers to ask somebody at YouTube to review their video and then give them actual feedback on why it would be yellow or things that you can change. Now, I've found that just railing against YouTube isn't very effective. I guess I should have known that. So I will try to be critical in my response here, or fair, and point out things that I think are good. For example, I actually have no problem whatsoever with YouTube charging for a premium service like this. Look, the only YouTubers that really care, that really need to know ahead of time if a video is going to be yellow or green, are going to be YouTubers that are probably getting hundreds of thousands of views minimum. The problem is in the video, they don't actually tell you what that's going to cost. They're going to figure out what that is. Now, I, again, don't really have any problem with this. If you open this up to everybody, you would have YouTubers with 100 subscribers clogging up the system. They don't really need to know ahead of time. Now, it does stink if you don't know ahead of time and a video goes viral and you make no money on it because you said one word instead of another. I don't know if you've watched my channel, but you know how I like to switch up words and all sorts of stuff. This is just my own internal list. I don't have any secret YouTube insider, although I would happily pay for one.
Frank, look at me. Look at me. I'm not the rat, okay? I'm not the rat.
The program does have some major flaws in that I don't think I support putting information that would help all YouTubers behind what can only be described as a paywall. Why not tell us exactly what words you're going to say we can't say? However, I do believe that their feedback will probably be non-specific. According to Reclaim the Net, creators could have to pay to find out why they were demonetized. YouTube's Creator Insider channel has a new video explaining a new pilot program that is currently geared towards and including only a small number of creators who would be given Ethan Klein excuse me, given an opportunity to actually learn why a video of theirs has been demonetized. Now, here's a frustrating point. I'm going to offer you this feedback, Team YouTube. Please, I'm not being sarcastic. Look, we know that the algorithm does 99% of this work in terms of determining whether or not a video is yellow or green. We also know that if the algorithm does in fact make a video yellow from green, it has hit on certain indicating factors. Why not simply report that on our dashboard? This would be an amazing free way for you to give creators feedback around their videos. It doesn't even have to be super duper specific. It can just tell us which rule we violated. For example, there's a variety of ways we can talk about Tom Hanks disease right now. Which words are okay? Which words aren't okay? If your algorithm told us, hey, it was yellow because you were on this topic, this specific topic, now we know. The lack of proper human communication between the giant platform and its creators, who, by the way, built the platform, has been a reoccurring and constant topic over the years. Yeah, well, what is it? They get 500 hours of content uploaded every minute. I do stand with this. Creators need to have more priority, but pragmatically or realistically, you can't just expect YouTube to have a one-to-one expansion of staff so that they can talk to every single creator. I get that, which is why I'm pushing for more automated feedback, not just yellow or green, but tell us what triggered it, because clearly you know. It's never been more painfully obvious than when videos are yellow, sometimes out of the blue, with no transparency, and more often than not without any proper explanation, therefore leaving YouTubers little resource to correct the situation. This has been the case. In fact, I've had videos that are yellow, then get manually reviewed, then go green, then once I push them live, they go yellow again. So I'm left to say as a creator here, now wait a minute, you manually reviewed this video, approved it, and then 5 minutes after I went live, it went green again. How do you react or correct for anything if you're not sure what was wrong in the first place? Duh, right? That's what much of the trouble faced by creators. Well, according to this video, if you're willing to pay YouTube to tell you, you might be in luck. And again, I have no problem paying for this service. Anybody who was really worried about it, as long as you're charging a reasonable price, it's probably worth it. In short, the video reveals that the giant is basically looking for a way to monetize the demonetization of your videos. Maybe. You know, I know YouTube is an evil corporation, but not everything they do is probably evil. You know, I just think a lot of it is tone deaf. The Creator Insider hosts seem almost perversely excited as they discuss the rather glum topic, content creators getting unlisted and actually properly reviewed. Google and YouTube used to pride themselves on industry mavericks, setting the pace and innovating right, left, and center, but nowadays it's come down to stuff like announcements of the UVR. Why isn't common human decency baked right into the very core of how YouTube works with its creators, instead of popping up years later as a small pilot program? And why should creators have to pay to learn while they've been penalized? I don't disagree with this. I think at the very minimum, you should be able to provide us with some basic information. It's like an employee having to pay their boss to find out why they were fired and stripped of their livelihood. Instead, here's what the pilot, if it ever makes it out of the testing phase, aims to do. Currently, creators are told to upload a video, mark it as unlisted, see if the yellow icon appears, and then, if by the whims of algorithmic gods, it does appeal. The purpose of UVR Pilot is a little different, we learn. It's a kind of addition to that, says one of the hosts. You have the workflow of uploading, being able to appeal. You may not always get a full diagnosis of why your video ran into a yellow icon, the host says. The difference with the new program is that the contentious videos will actually, their words on ours, get a human review. Interesting admission there. But don't get too excited because the scheme does not cover copyright claims, be they real or false. I don't care about copyright claims. That's relatively easy. If you upload a video that gets claimed, it happens immediately for the most part. Now, if it gets manually claimed down the road, how can we expect YouTube to really prevent that? Other than, I don't know, putting actual checks and balances into place. But one thing at a time. One thing at a time. I think at the core of this is a fine service to exist. But I do think it should not replace giving us, the creators, actual feedback. See, when you're a breaking story type channel, for example, like myself, I can't wait a week for them to approve it. If something is breaking news and I need to cover it and it's yellow, it's just got to go live in most cases because you're going to miss. You know, part of the handcuffs of my channel is that if something is news today, it won't necessarily be interesting tomorrow. And I have to cover it today. So this program probably won't ever appeal to me, but it'd be interesting as a bit of an autopsy, right? If a video is yellow, asking them, hey, a month later, saying, hey, why did this video get hit? And if they can tell me specifically why it was, well, then we've got something. And to be honest with you, that sort of information would get disseminated, right? If YouTube told me why, I'd be telling all of you why. If they start to tell any creator why, well, that's exactly what they would do. So if you're YouTube, what I'm asking you to do is, if you don't want just instant pushback against this program, please also couple it with giving us, the creators, a little more information. I've got to be honest, the whole talking about the Koof situation, for example, how everybody was getting yellow immediately no matter what, they actually reversed that relatively quick. And some of my videos talking about that have now gone green. Now, it's no longer relevant anymore, but nonetheless, they did adapt. So I want to give them some credit here for actually doing something. And if we look at the actual video, if we want to add the actual video here, there's some interesting pieces of information here.
Hello, insiders! This week we have a special sneak peek with a very special guest. Jenny, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
One bit of feedback. I know that YouTube probably tells you to be more relatable, and that's why just wear a lav mic, please, for the love of God, or at least get, you know, a nice Rode mic. The room noise is just brutal.
You have been working on something that we've been talking about in the company for a little while now with great interest, but this is going to be the first time I think we've talked about what you're working on more openly, publicly.
Yeah.
And I think the audience is going to be curious to.
I know that they're just working for YouTube. I'm not, and hey, look, I'm not going to meme on these people. It's difficult to be pumped up about something, but I do think this program has some possibilities for good, especially if that information does get disseminated to the rest of us. And if they give creators actual actionable feedback, which I'm not sure they will.
Hear what you've been up to.
Well, I'm excited to share
Yeah.
because it's definitely been something that we've been hearing from creators a lot, and something that we can see is hopefully, depending on how creators respond and react to it, an opportunity for us to do a better job and shed a little bit more insight into places where creators need help.
Great. And by the way, this video isn't like massively downvoted. It's got 100 downvotes and like 300 upvotes. But any message from the corporation is always going to be generally negatively received.
What have you been up to? What is this? What is this project?
What is this thing? So, I've been working on a program called the Unlisted Video Review Program. UVR
Very catchy
for short.
name.
So
Yes.
catchy.
Yes.
So catchy. It's a small pilot program.
Uh-huh.
By the way, at no point have they told us how much any of this would cost. That could also be a potential deal breaker. If they want $500 for this, oh, the internet.
Where we're helping creators do just as the title describes, get their unlisted videos reviewed.
Now, interesting. So this, we currently tell creators to upload a video, put it as unlisted, see if the yellow icon comes on. If it does, then appeal.
Yep.
By the way, they have improved that system. It used to be, it needs to have 1,000 video views before you can even request review. I have had videos, like usually if I have a video that I know is dicey, I'll upload that first, and then I'll submit it for review. And honestly, in most cases, they'll review it within 8 hours. I suppose it depends what time it is. So if I know a video is going to be spicy, I'll try to upload it the night before. Like, you can work within the system. Although now, if they're telling us that they'll review it as simply unlisted, okay.
But what you're doing is a little different than that.
It's kind of an addition to that.
Okay.
So what we realized was, you have this kind of workflow of uploading, being able to appeal, but you don't always get full diagnosis.
No.
You never do. You never do. It just says it's either good or not.
Of your video for why it may run into a yellow icon.
Yes.
So what
By the way, I like how they call it yellow icons too.
we're doing is similar to that workflow. We are looking at your video from a monetization perspective, as well as from a community guidelines perspective, making sure you're not going to run into any age restrictions.
They also don't tell you that if it, would you avoid some sort of penalty if you had them review it first? I don't know. I would assume so.
We'll take a look at your video and actually send it to human reviewers, so
I thought that happened already. Could just be a wording thing.
they're able to take a look at that. Similar to what would happen if you appealed for your
Right.
yellow icon.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. Okay, so let me just make sure I understand this. Currently, the process is you upload it, you see if the yellow icon comes on, you appeal. What you're talking about is you upload it, you'll get a review from a monetization point of view, whether the yellow icon will come out. It sounds like
Yeah.
you might even get some more insight as to why.
Yep.
But see, why can't we get that anyway? At least from the automated perspective. All right. If it's getting automated marked yellow, then from an automated perspective why.
Then you're also going to give some information around whether or not there's anything wrong from community guidelines. What about copyright? You do copyright as well?
We don't do copyright
Okay.
right now, so no copyright. Sorry about that.
Who cares? That's fine.
So, like, have we been doing this, or is this like an idea that we're just starting? Like, where are we at?
This is an idea that we're just starting. We've only onboarded a few creators, and we're
Who are they? I'd like to be on board. Seriously, Team YouTube, I would like to be on board.
still iterating on the process to make sure that we're providing, guidance service and seeing if this is something that the creators want. And that's actually helpful.
So how
Well, the creators do want more information. I don't know if they want to pay for it. I don't think most creators want to pay for it.
does it, like, what have they been telling you, these handful that have been trying it out?
So the few that have been trying it out have definitely been finding the insights helpful. So
Shocking.
not having to appeal, not having to go through that process, and also actually getting some guidance into
Right.
what was the cause for that yellow icon.
Yes.
I mean, you might have some general idea, or you've read through the advertiser-friendly guidelines and see, oh, my video does have profanity, so maybe that's what it was. But actually being able to say, okay, you know, your video has a bunch of profanity in it. Here's where there's going to be issues.
Well, okay. If it's just on the language that you use in the video, I don't find that to be very helpful. I think everybody knows that, you know, if you want to be family friendly, then you PG. Just think about what would be rated PG and put it in your channel. I don't need YouTube to tell me that. Although I do see plenty of creators who have very colorful language getting ads. It's just a different tier. Remember that. You may be green, but then there's a different tier that your videos get.
That's what creators have found most helpful from the program so far.
Wow. So then, yeah, so they basically, if they can understand what were the drivers of the issues, not only does that help them, I guess, address it for the video that they were about to publish, but I guess it also makes them kind of...
Okay, he's just doing the TV host thing. I'm not going to rip on him too much. This isn't a complex issue or a complex program. What YouTube is saying, look, we'll tell you why your video got yellow. At no point in this video, I've watched it all the way through. At no point in this video they talk about how much it's going to cost or what kind of turnaround there is or anything that's actually helpful. I would ask Team YouTube to start giving content creators more automated feedback on what videos, even just general, right? Just generally. And I guarantee you'll start to see a large portion of people start green and stay green because we're not stupid. Creators aren't stupid. I know if I said a word that's dicey, I know if I'm covering a topic that's dicey. I don't need YouTube to tell me that. All right. But what I do want is if an algorithm is giving me an automated assignment of yellow, you know what that was, so you should tell us. On top of that, I'd be happy to pay for more information, but am I going to have to keep that to myself? Because I would love to share that with my fellow creators. Honestly, I'm on the fence about this program. I hope that it's actually useful, but it's only going to be useful if that information gets shared with everybody, which is what YouTube really should be doing anyway. I'm interested to hear what you have to say in the comment section down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.